Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you what we had for dinner this past week. Our dinners were really easy and super delicious, so let me show you what we had. First up, we have chili cheese dogs. I cooked these in the air fryer just to make it super easy, but you don't have to use the air fryer. I cooked my hot dogs at 390 degrees for about 6 or 7 minutes, just until they're warmed all the way through and browned to your liking. And while my hot dogs are cooking, I'm going to get my chili warmed. I'm using this Kroger chili sauce, but you can use leftover chili or whatever you have on hand. And once your hot dogs are cooked, you're going to set those aside. And then for my side, I'm just going to put some tater tots in the air fryer. And here they've been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes. I'm just going to give them a shake. And once my tater tots are done, I'm just sprinkling on some of this French fry seasoning. I found this at the Dollar Tree. Next, I placed my hot dog buns back into my basket. I topped it with my hot dogs, my chili, and some shredded cheese. You can use whatever toppings you would like. I'm then going to put it back into my air fryer at 390 degrees for about 3 minutes until the bread is toasted and the cheese is melted. And here are our finished plates. We just served the chili cheese dogs again with some tater tots and some ketchup. The next night we had a pot roast that I cooked in the crock pot. I'm just going to start out by spraying my crock pot, and then I'm going to add my roast. Now I'm using just over about a 2-pound roast here. I'm then going to season my roast with salt and pepper on all sides. Next, I'm going to take this can of cream of mushroom soup and add it to this measuring cup. If you're using a larger roast, you may want to use 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup. Next, I'm going to add a packet of onion soup mix. Then I'm going to add a cup of water. You can also use beef broth, and I'm just going to stir that up. Next, I'm going to add my vegetables. I have half of a large onion that I've cut into large pieces, and then I have 2 small carrots that I have cut into large chunks. I'm then going to pour my mixture over my vegetables and my roast. Now, usually when I make a roast, I will cut up a couple of russet potatoes and put those in, but tonight I am going to do a different potato on the side, so I'm omitting the potatoes from this. And finally, I'm just going to cover this with a lid. Normally, I cook this on low for 8 to 10 hours, but on this day, I got it started a little bit late, so I cooked it on high for 5 hours and then cooked it on low for about another hour. One of our sides tonight is going to be broccoli and cheese, so I'm just going to steam some of these broccoli florets from Walmart. For our other side, I'm going to cook the smoked Gouda onion and thyme potatoes from Kroger. My mom actually got these for me. She's been telling me about them, and so we're going to give these a try tonight. I am going to use this packet of Velveeta cheese sauce for my broccoli. I'm just going to warm it up in a small saucepan. You can find these at the Dollar Tree or the dollar store or most grocery stores, but they are cheaper at Walmart. I have steamed my broccoli according to the package directions. I'm just going to place that in a bowl. I'm then going to season my broccoli with some salt and pepper, and I'm going to use some of the seasoning that I got at Aldi. It's their version of the Mrs. Dash garlic and herb. And finally, I'm just going to add my warmed up cheese sauce to my broccoli and give that a stir. Next up are the potatoes. I've just microwaved them, again according to the package directions. I'm then going to add a couple tablespoons of butter and stir that around with the potatoes. Next, I'm going to add my seasoning packet that came with the potatoes and give that a stir. Here are our final plates. I served the roast with the potatoes, the broccoli and cheese sauce, and then I had made some homemade potato rolls a couple of months ago and put them in my freezer, so I just thawed those and warmed those up, and that's dinner tonight. Next, I'm going to make Parmesan ranch chicken. This is a recipe from Plain Chicken, which I will link in the description box below. I'm going to start out by taking 2 chicken breasts that I have cut in half and pounded slightly and marinated in some ranch dressing. You don't have to marinate it. You can just dip it in ranch dressing and then the breadcrumbs. You'll then need a dish or something to put your breadcrumb mixture in, and then a cookie sheet lined with either a Silpat or parchment paper, or just spray with some cooking spray. Next, I'm going to add some panko breadcrumbs to my dish. Then I'm going to add some grated Parmesan cheese. Next, you'll want to add your garlic powder, pepper, and seasoned salt. And I'm just going to take my fork and mix all of that together. Now that that's all mixed up, I'm going to take my chicken breasts and dip it into my breadcrumb mixture. I'll take my fork and press on the breadcrumbs to the chicken just to make sure it's coated really well. And then I'll put it on my cookie sheet. Now, again, I've had my chicken marinating, but if you have not marinated your chicken, that's totally fine. You'll just want to take your chicken breasts, dip them in ranch dressing, and then dip them into your breadcrumb mixture. Next, I'm going to spray some of this cooking spray on my chicken. This just helps it get brown. And then I'm going to put it in a 425-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And while my chicken is cooking in the oven, I'm going to get started on my side dishes. So I'm going to do some roasted potatoes in the air fryer. You can just cook these in the oven. I'm just going to take a couple of russet potatoes that I've washed and cut them into chunks. Next, I'm going to take some oil and put it on my potatoes, and then I'm going to season it with some garlic powder, some pepper, some paprika, some onion powder, and some salt. And you can use whatever seasonings you like. I'm going to stir that all together and then put it in my air fryer basket. I'm going to cook it on 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. I'll shake it halfway through and then cook it another 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to get my other side started, so I'm going to take some of these Italian green beans, a little oil, some of this chicken bouillon, some garlic, and some pepper, and put that in a saucepan and just simmer those while my chicken and potatoes are cooking. Here is the chicken out of the oven. And here are the finished potatoes. I love how crispy and brown they get in the air fryer. And here are our finished plates. Again, I just have the chicken along with the potatoes and green beans, and we will probably dip our chicken in either some honey mustard or barbecue sauce. For dinner tonight, we just ran through the drive-thru. We had worked pretty late, and so we just needed something quick and easy. My husband has been wanting a Whopper from Burger King, so he got a Whopper and some onion rings. And then I didn't really want Burger King. There's a Bojangles right next door though, and chicken tenders just sounded really good, so I got some chicken tenders and macaroni and cheese from Bojangles, and that's dinner tonight. Tonight for dinner, I'm going to be making Pollo Loco. This recipe is also from Plain Chicken, which again, I will link in the description box below. I'm going to get started with my rice. In a saucepan, I'm going to add some oil. I'm then going to add my rice and saute that until the rice is slightly puffed. I'm then going to add some garlic salt and some taco seasoning and give that a stir. Next, I'll add my chicken broth, tomato sauce, and some minced onion. And then you'll want to give that a stir, cover it, reduce the heat to simmer, and cook that for about 20 to 25 minutes or until your rice is done. Now for the chicken, I've had mine marinating in this Lowry's Baja Chipotle marinade. This is really good, but it can be hard to find. If you can't find it, just use your favorite marinade, or you can just use some oil and taco seasoning. I'm going to cook my chicken in my cast iron grill pan on medium-high heat for about 5 to 6 minutes each side, or until the chicken is 165 degrees. You can use a George Foreman, a grill, a skillet, whatever you have. Next, I'm going to get started on my queso dip. I got this from Love Missy XO. I will link her channel below. I'm going to start by taking some half and half in a small saucepan over about medium heat and warming that half and half. I have used milk, and I've even done this using almond milk, and both turned out just fine. I'm then going to take 6 slices of this white American cheese and add that and stir that together. And you'll just want to keep whisking until the cheese is melted. I'm then going to add some green chilies, some salt, and a little bit of cumin. Just add the salt and the cumin to your taste, and I am having Missy's recipe. As you can see, this queso dip is pretty easy to put together, but you can also just use a store-bought queso dip. That works just as well. And here is our finished chicken, along with the rice. Once the rice is cooked, you just want to fluff it with a fork. And then here is the queso dip. And here are the finished plates. To serve this up, you just want to make a bed of the rice, top it with your chicken, then your queso dip, and then we like to top ours with some diced tomatoes. And then I just did some steamed broccoli seasoned with salt and pepper on the side. And that was dinner tonight. This is one of our favorites. I really recommend this recipe. Tonight for dinner, I'm going to be making pumpkin French toast. I saw this over on Kristen Stepp's channel, so I'll be sure to link her video below in the description box. I'm first going to start with my scrambled eggs. I've got just a little bit of butter in a pan over medium-low heat. I'm going to take some eggs and get those scrambled up in my bowl. And for my eggs, I like to take a splash of milk and a little of this Tony Chachere's seasoning, and just a little bit more salt and pepper. And I'll scramble that up and then get that added to my skillet. And again, I'm going to cook this over about medium-low heat. Next, I'm going to cook some bacon in my air fryer at 400 degrees for about 7 or 8 minutes. You can also just cook it on top of the stove or in the oven. Now for the French toast, I have my electric griddle preheating on about 350 degrees. I have a couple of eggs in this small dish. I'm going to add my half and half to this. I used half and half just because that's what I have on hand, but the recipe calls for milk. You'll then add your vanilla, your sugar, your pumpkin, and your nutmeg. The recipe calls for cinnamon, and if you see, I do have it out on my counter here. When we tried the finished dish, though, I could not taste the cinnamon at all. And I even said to my husband, I said, I can't taste the cinnamon. Next time I make this, I would add more cinnamon. And it wasn't until I was going back to watch this footage that I realized I couldn't taste the cinnamon because I left the cinnamon out. So don't be like me. Make sure you add the cinnamon. The pumpkin really needs those warm spices like the cinnamon, so be sure to add it. Now that that's whisked really well together, I'm going to take my griddle and spray it with some of this nonstick cooking spray. You'll then want to take your bread, and I'm just using this leftover sourdough bread from Walmart. You'll want to dip it into your egg mixture and then place it onto your griddle. You'll cook your bread for about 3 to 4 minutes on the first side or until it's golden brown, and then you'll flip it over and cook it another 3 to 4 minutes or again until it's golden brown. And here are our finished plates. I just have the French toast with a little pat of butter, our scrambled eggs, and our bacon. We like maple syrup over our French toast, and then we do like ketchup with our eggs. So that's dinner tonight. And that's it for this week's What's for Dinner video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.